Welcome everyone to this Entrepreneurship Courseware and Simulation Preview with the authors. Super excited to have you here today. I'm Virgil Ricks, one of the product marketing managers here at Stukent, and I'm excited to be here with you and to share this new courseware and simulation with you that the Stukent team has been working very hard on to bring this really game-changing curriculum to you and students. So while people are joining the room and getting used to the platform, I just want to walk you through our platform Mio and how it works. You don't have to worry about your camera or microphone being on. Those are automatically off and you won't be able to turn those on. So don't worry about people hearing you or seeing you. On the right is where we'll have the chat, polls, handouts that we present during the event. If we get used to the chat here a little bit and have everyone chat in where you're tuning in from. And then we'll also test out the poll feature on the right. So we'll do a couple polls here for you. First of all, do you currently teach entrepreneurship? You can see that poll on the right there and select your response. And then second, does your university have a club or a center or some sort of a place for resources for student entrepreneurs? Looks like we're getting some responses in to those. Some teach a course, some want to teach a course, but they don't currently have it set up. It looks like there are resources that most of you have at your schools for student entrepreneurs, which is awesome. And then we've got people here from Idaho, which is where we're at. Looks like we got some from Philadelphia, all over. Stukent is across the world, so we get people tuning in from not only the United States, but also throughout the globe, which is fun and exciting. And then every once in a while, we'll pop up an action in the bottom left corner. These will be things to take action on that we talk about in the event today in the webinar. You don't have to see those will pop up. You can close them if you're not ready to take action on it at that time, but that's where those will pop up. And finally, this event is being recorded and will be emailed out to you after the event and posted in our webinars archive, so you can find it there. Now, if you're new to Stukent, I want to welcome you to Stukent if this is your first time interacting with us. At Stukent, we're on a mission to help educators, help students, help the world. And one way that we do that is by bringing real-world innovative curriculum into your classroom. That's not only engaging for your students, but also stress-free and easy to implement for you, just like this entrepreneurship courseware and simulation that we're introducing today. I want to walk you through the agenda a little bit of what to expect today, and then we'll get things going. So for today's event, we're going to spend the first about 10 to 12 minutes getting a sneak peek at the simulation before we turn it over to Dr. Jen Riley to walk through this courseware and all it includes. And the simulation, you can join the waitlist for that. That's not quite done yet, but we're working to make that ready for you and your students as quickly as possible. The courseware is ready that we're going to walk through today, so you can actually jump in and see that and experience that and walk through that with one of our course consultants. And so now I'm on Stuart Draper, our CEO here at Stukent, and also a co-author on the Entrepreneurship Courseware. And he and Abby are going to be in a section here, which is pre-recorded. So if you see them in the chat, don't worry, they're not chatting while they're live. This is a pre-recorded segment. And then we'll turn it over to Dr. Jen Riley for walking through that courseware.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today, and I can't wait to show you what the Stukent team has created for you and your aspiring entrepreneurs. Not that your students are all entrepreneurs, but we hope to inspire them and help more of them choose the path of entrepreneurship. To develop the Entrepreneurship Simulation and Courseware Bundle, I worked with the one and only Dr. Jen Riley, a professor at Purdue University. Jen and I have shared our collective knowledge in this new bundle, giving you robust tools to prepare your students for the rigors of starting a business, which we all know isn't easy, and without money to work with, it's really hard to practice entrepreneurship. The Entrepreneurship Bundle helps students develop an entrepreneurial mindset, make the right startup decisions, build and market a brand, manage and scale their businesses, and analyze their successes. The Entrepreneurship Courseware and simulation complement one another perfectly. The courseware provides students with a foundation in key entrepreneurial principles, while the simulation gives them actionable, real-world experience with the concepts they learn in the course. When used together, these powerful resources help students develop the skills they need to start and scale a business, all within the safety of a sandbox environment. Jen will be here to give you an in-depth walkthrough of the Entrepreneurship Courseware later in today's preview. You're going to love her. But first, let me introduce you to Abby, who you'll also love, and she's going to give you a quick preview of the all-new Entrepreneurship Simulation.
From beginning to end, the Entrepreneurship Simulation is designed to mimic the challenges of the startup experience. Students will play the role of an entrepreneur who is starting a new backpack company. Over the course of 10 rounds, your students will perform market research, select product options, build advertising campaigns, hire employees, and more. By the time your students complete the Entrepreneurship Simulation, they will have experienced all aspects of starting, growing, and maintaining a business, which is a valuable insight whether they start their own business or join another one. Before we dive into the student side of the simulation, let's take a quick look at the instructor portal. The goal of the instructor portal is to make course management as easy as possible. From this page, you can download an instructor guide, which includes instructions for setting up your course, adding students, descriptions of each round, and more. It also allows you to easily view students' auto-graded scores, round results, and even their work in the most recent round. The Entrepreneurship Simulation also integrates with your preferred LMS, allowing you to sync your students' scores seamlessly. It's easy to implement into your curriculum and delivers a world-class, hands-on learning experience for your students. If you would like to connect your LMS, please reach out to your Customer Success Manager to start the process. Your Customer Success Manager is here to support you every step of the way. Don't be afraid to ask them for help. They are here for you. Additionally, your students will have access to Stuken's virtual TA team, which provides technical support and guidance for your products. With a 96% customer satisfaction rating, our virtual TAs will save you hours of unnecessary emails from your students. Stuken is dedicated to developing simulations and courseware that make your life easier as a professor. So with that said, let's take a look at the new Entrepreneurship Simulation. When your students enter the simulation for the first time, they'll start in the introduction round. Here, they'll find resources that will familiarize them with the simulation and an entrepreneurial questionnaire that helps define their goals. Once students have acquainted themselves with the simulation scenario, they'll be ready to get started. At the beginning of each round, students will watch a video message from their investment partner. These videos are vital to student success and will guide them throughout the simulation. Students will find contracts, memos, reports, and market research in their inbox, so they should check it regularly. These documents help students accomplish their tasks each round. Next, students should check the Notifications Hub, where they'll answer questions from other entrepreneurs. And if students don't select the best answer, that's okay. This simulation highlights where to find more information in the Entrepreneurship Courseware. Students will do several interactive knowledge checks per round. These knowledge checks ensure students are retaining the information they have learned in the courseware. Features like the Inbox and Notifications Hub increase immersion and develop students' professional communication skills, preparing them to build real relationships in the real world. With the Inbox and Notifications Hub cleared, it's time to get down to business. Each round presents students with a set of tasks to complete. They will also start each round with a set amount of seed money, which needs to cover the cost of samples, daily operations, and advertising, at least until they start earning some revenue. In the early rounds of the simulation, students will purchase market research and receive competitor data and customer insights. This information will help them define their target audience, determine their customers' preferred backpack features, and create a unique value proposition, just like they would in real life. This process helps students define who their potential customers are and what those customers need. Essentially, we're asking students to adopt an entrepreneurial mindset. Students need to think strategically from the outset, which results in a better overall product and lays the foundation for their marketing strategy in later rounds. Once students have selected a market and customer persona to target, they will need to choose a manufacturer, order samples, and test their products. Students can purchase samples from multiple suppliers, but they need to be careful. They don't want to overspend on sample backpacks. With the consumer data students receive from the sample backpacks, they'll be poised to create a custom bag that their target market won't be able to live without. The entrepreneurship simulation puts students in control of what features their products will have, right down to the zipper. To succeed both in the simulation and in real-life entrepreneurial endeavors, students need to think critically about their products and costs. They must select the right features for their market, but keep the cost of each backpack low, all while budgeting for daily operations and future advertising costs. It's a fine balance, but the simulation gives them a safe, true-to-life environment to experiment and grow. Students will also select the retail price for their backpacks, with the goal of maximizing revenue. Any money earned will be deposited into their operating budget, so they should choose their price points with care. Now it's time to place that first purchase order. Now that students have their products, they need to market and advertise them. To help students decide how to market their new backpacks, they will receive a backpack advertising trends report in their inbox. This guide includes information on ad spend by channel, top social media platforms, average posts per day by competitors, and more. At this point, students will also create a functional, attractive website that fits their budget and converts visitors into customers. This is where the entrepreneurship simulation kicks into high gear. We ask students to not only manage the operational and financial aspects of their startup, but to think like marketers as well. To succeed, students must manage all three facets of their business, helping them to hone their skills and develop their entrepreneurial mindset. In each subsequent round, students should assess their cash flow. Are their advertising choices converting customers to their brand? How are their sales? Do they have the funds they need to place another purchase order? Now that their business is really starting to take off, the investors will grant students a line of credit, which allows them to expand their business into brick and mortar stores. Students will evaluate each store's inventory requirements, select stores to work with, and make another purchase order, all while balancing their operations and advertising budgets. With as fast as Bowie is growing, students should consider hiring a few employees too. They can hire for as many positions as they would like, so long as they can afford to do so. Students have the opportunity to review a list of candidates, view their resumes and qualifications, and make decisions on who will be the best fit for Bowie. The ability to build a great team is one of the most valuable skills an entrepreneur can develop. The entrepreneurship simulation will provide a hands-on experience that your students will enjoy. If you have not used a student simulation in your classroom before, you will love the engagement it brings. I know this was a quick overview of the simulation, but if you have any questions, you can schedule a quick call with one of our course consultants. You can click the link in the chat to find a time. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks, Abby. Can't you guys envision your student evaluations going up already? This simulation is something that they're going to love, and they're going to love you for using it. Now, I'm excited to introduce you to my co-author for the Entrepreneurship Courseware, Dr. Jen Riley. Jen is an assistant professor at Purdue University, where she specializes in sales and marketing. Prior to entering academia, Jen was an award-winning entrepreneur and corporate marketing consultant. She is passionate about entrepreneurship education and loves finding innovative ways to engage students and help them discover their passions and talents. Here's Jen.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Didn't that simulation look great? I am so excited to share with you guys. of this courseware that Stu and I have worked on. Hold on, can't hear me. Let me see. Can you guys hear me now? Awesome. It's great to be here with everybody. I am so excited to share this courseware with you. I have some slides for you guys, and we can walk through the courseware, and I can show you everything that we packed into this for you, the professors and the students. All right, let's dive in. So just a little bit about me. As Stu shared a lot of my experience, I have been working with other businesses, small businesses, large businesses, B2B, B2C for over 10 years. And that's where all of my energy and love for entrepreneurship comes from. Really seeing a company come from the ground up and helping them with everything from the beginning to helping them scale at the end. Award-winning entrepreneur, professor, speaker, and researcher, and all of that experience is packed into this courseware, which I'm so excited to bring to you now. So why entrepreneurship? Why are we teaching entrepreneurship? Why is this increasing across the country? For one, the gig economy and contract work is increasing, and it will continue to rise. It's not going away. People are going and fleeing to entrepreneurship. They are embracing entrepreneurship, not only in addition to their full-time work, but some of them are leaving corporate or their employers to start their businesses. Students need to understand both sides of the coin. They need a professional brand that they can market to help them get jobs or to help them be entrepreneurs. So it's really important that we teach this so they can help create jobs, not only really find them as the economy and the world continues to change. Training students to think as employers, not only as employees, can only help both sides. If employers get entrepreneurial minded students, that's better for their business, because now the student is not only thinking about that one task that they've been asked to do as, let's say, a marketing coordinator. They're looking at the entire picture because they have that background as, okay, I know what this means. I know how all of these pieces connect together for the business as a whole, rather than looking at my little piece of the pie. So that's really why entrepreneurship is so important. You guys are here, so you guys know already, I'm sure. Thanks, Millie. I love the t-shirt. I love the logo. This experience has been amazing, and I just could not wear one of the shirts for the book. So let's dive in. Okay, how are we going to actually use this courseware? Entrepreneurship can be used as an introduction to entrepreneurship class. Entrepreneurial marketing is a concept that is growing over in many schools, because we want to make sure that our marketing students are prepared, our management students are prepared. So entrepreneurship, intro to entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial marketing are all places where this courseware can be used. It actually helps students apply knowledge from other disciplines as well as other classes that they have taken during their matriculation at the school. And it will give them that knowledge and exposure even if they are not business students. So if we have students coming from communication, from journalism, from engineering, it will give them that baseline business knowledge, a little bit of everything, so they know what they need to know going into business. And then we have a whole suite of expert sessions from real entrepreneurs that are in business and making money in their businesses and can tell students their stories, and they focus on different areas for each expert session. A really great resource for the students and the faculty. You can go ahead and download the 16-week syllabus that they have populated there. It's a visual syllabus that is actually interactive, but I'll tell you more about that here shortly. Let's actually go through the courseware. So it's a 10-chapter book where the first chapter takes you through the entrepreneurship mindset. Entrepreneurship has gotten really popular from social media, and we walk through myths and how a student can actually formulate their mind to start thinking like an entrepreneur, how they can gauge the skills that they have that will serve them well in entrepreneurship, other skills that they can hone to increase their capabilities for entrepreneurship, etc. Then we go into startup decisions, building a brand, legitimizing your business. A lot of students that I run into in my tenure are in business. They have something, they have like a small side hustle, as they call it, but they haven't legitimized the brand. So this courseware takes you through, okay, we're building a brand, we're selecting colors. What does the colors actually mean? How do we pick a logo? Do we work with a graphic designer? And the considerations along with that. Do we classify as an LLC? What does that mean? How does that impact our taxes? All things that they need to know when starting a business. Then you go into building value within a brand. So that's a lot of stuff about the customer facing experience and our value proposition, and really how do we interact with our customers to build that brand. We go into next, we go into the marketing and selling. What does the customer acquisition process really look like? What does that even mean? How do we get our brand out there for people to start buying? Who are our target audiences? Can we pinpoint who they are in a customer profile? Then we go into chapter 7 as managing the actual brand, managing the actual business. What do we need? What do we need to consider? What aspects are we actually managing? What is overhead? What is all the management things from a day-to-day perspective, not necessarily externally, but internally for the business. Are we adding staff? Are we outsourcing? What are we doing to actually manage and grow the business? Then chapter 8 goes through your business's finances, like your run rate report and your cash, and to make sure that you know what's going on financially for the business. Chapter 9 talks about growing your business and scaling your business and how you do that over time. And then chapter 10 goes through your business success and how do we actually know, are we in business and successful right now? Or is it something we need to grow, and how do we gauge if we're actually a success in business? So that's the overview of each individual chapter, but I have more for you coming here. So the students have a chapter reading and their quiz content. Then we have 3 application activities per chapter: your brainstorming journal prompts, your creating a business class project, and then your Jasmine Abrams worksheets. And then, as you saw earlier, you have the optional add-on for the simulation, which looks amazing, if I do say so myself. So, Jasmine Abrams worksheets. In this courseware, students will actually go through the entrepreneurship journey with an actual entrepreneur based on real entrepreneurs that I know. And she is Jasmine Abrams. Currently, she works at Creative Sparks, a graphic design agency, and she starts her own business, Dynamic Designs, throughout the course. Every week, students get a worksheet for Jasmine's business, and they have to help her make decisions based on the chapter content. So in chapter 3, for example, they are branding, and they're helping her decide on her logo and colors, and they are literally given a scenario and they have to help her make those decisions. They have to advise her, they have to explain things to her based on their knowledge that they learned in the chapter. You can download a sample of a Jasmine Abrams worksheet. That's from chapter 2. Just to see a little bit more on what that looks like. The brainstorming journal prompts are for students to kind of think about things. So they read the chapter and then they do the Jasmine Abrams worksheet, and now they're starting to think, okay, how do these things relate to my business, to a business idea that I have? And those questions either have them think critically about their decisions and the smaller decisions that lead up to a bigger decision for the business, for their brand, or it requires them to do research to understand, like, okay, well, what are these 2 options? I know I have all of these options to classify my business with the state. What are my requirements for the state? What are the requirements for local government, etc.? And that journal prompt takes them through that process to actually start to think about and figure out what they want baseline to help process the information that was in the chapter. Rather than just reading and be like, oh, okay, this is high level stuff, it brings it down to them to say, okay, now it's time for you to do some research, for you to think through these things. Then the third interactive assignment for the chapter is creating your business. I know a lot of entrepreneurship classes have a business plan as the seminal piece to the class. That's kind of the final exam, so to speak. That's the end product, that's the end result. I know students, even as professors, a lot of times we tend to wait and do things when it's due. You guys know that. I'm sure you experience that from your students and probably from yourselves, right? It's just human nature. You prioritize based on when it's due. Creating your business allows students to incrementally build up their business plan. It asks them questions and helps to triangulate the things that they're learning within the chapter to say, okay, this is everything you've learned. You've helped Jasmine make some decisions that are similar. You have done some brainstorming in your journal prompts and responses. Now it's time to let's make some actual decisions for your business. So you're not thinking, you're not researching high level, trying to decide and weigh the options. You're actually making decisions, and that will help them towards the end of the semester because they already have everything compiled. They already have everything. They just need to put it in the template that is also within the courseware as a resource for your actual business plan. And then they're just dropping things in from that ongoing assignment to help keep them on track throughout the semester so they don't wait till the last minute. That also helps you as the faculty member because you can weigh in as they go. You can give them additional considerations to say, oh, I noticed you did this. Why don't you go this route? Or have you considered this? So that you catch it ahead of time to make their end result even better. For students who are already in business, this helps them backtrack a little bit if they have not done any of these things to bring them current in their business to help prepare them for success as much as possible. So let's talk a little bit more about the resources. Okay, so as a professor, I thought it was really important to pack this class with resources. So you guys have downloaded the 16-week sample syllabus. It is interactive, it is visual, it gets the students engaged. You can put it up on the board so they can actually see it and they hopefully will interact with it more. You know, there are, it's a 16-week version and then I have an accelerated 8-week version. In the event that you want to offer this class over the summer, you don't have to think about, okay, well, how do I convert a 16-week class into an 8-week class? Boom, it's already done for you. All you have to do is open the other syllabus and put in your contact information and your policies, as the same with the 16-week. Then you have a quiz bank and a glossary for the students already integrated into the courseware. I also packed in lesson plans. So the interesting part about these lesson plans is that they take you through multiple modalities. So it has the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, shorter class periods already broken down, and it has the longer Tuesday, Thursday class periods broken down for you for what to do in each class, as well as prompts on how to navigate the student conversations for those class sessions. And the sweet spot here is there are flipped classroom directions and slides in the lesson plans. That's one of my favorite parts about this courseware. Flipped classrooms are where you require students to read and do their quiz outside of class, and then in class you're doing activities. So each week there are activities that you can do, and a lot of times it is the Jasmine Abrams worksheet or the journal prompts. You can have students work together in groups, or they can work individually. You can discuss these things and the challenges that Jasmine is facing that week in her business, and it gives students an opportunity to collaborate. It gives you an opportunity to interact with them and have a different type of classroom other than the standard lecture. You can utilize a simulation or the class project for the business, for the class, whichever one works best for you, or you can even use both. And then of course you can leverage your expert sessions as guest speakers. They run about 30 minutes, or you can use a guest speaker and bring a guest speaker in. Both of those options are there for you in the syllabus already broken down. From a student perspective, I have packed this with resources as well. There are 2 presentations with every chapter. One is for the faculty members that has notes in the notes section for the presentation. And then there is a section or a presentation for students as well that they can download and review content as well. They get to watch and help Jasmine's journey unfold. So they're not only just hearing about entrepreneurs, they're not hearing stories and seeing people that are billions of dollars away from them or millions of dollars away from them. They are seeing somebody in a similar situation to where they are right now trying to grow their business. Then they get to make decisions for their actual business. And I have developed resources for them to create their own businesses. So there are, and you see the print vendors and for swag and merch, that's a sample of what a resource looks like. I have resources for minority owned and women owned businesses, funding, legal considerations that send them to websites that I've already vetted and made sure this is the actual legitimate information rather than ask students to Google things. I know when I first started my business, I wasn't sure about a lot and I ended up on the internet looking, and that took up a lot of time. And sometimes, to be honest, it can be a little discouraging. So I have packed this course with resources for students that say, hey, you want to be in business, here are some extra resources outside of the templates provided with the book, outside of the worksheets provided with the book. This is a list of places that you can go and things that you will need in starting your business. So students have that as a resource as well. All right, my favorite part of this courseware. I really love the fact that it's customizable, right? If you want to use a simulation, you can scale back on some of the other assignments. If you don't want to use a simulation, everything is already built into the course to help them navigate entrepreneurship from theory to practice. That's probably my favorite part of this book. You don't only talk to them about entrepreneurship, they can do entrepreneurship as a part of this book. Some students I've had already in business, and we work with them, or I've worked with them on their business for my marketing classes. It's the same with this entrepreneurship class. Now you're utilizing your business. You don't have to start a new business. Use the existing business you have and make that business better, because that's why we're all here at the end of the day. We want to make our students better, whether that's better employees or better entrepreneurs or just better people. All right, so the resources I haven't seen, as I prep all of my classes over the last 8 years, I've never seen flipped classroom directions. It's one of those things that's always like, you know what? That's really nice in theory, but that's a lot of work and I have to figure out a lot of things. Well, I've already done all that legwork for you. The instructions are there, the slides are there, the worksheets are there. All you have to do is adopt the textbook and load it, read the instructions. The lesson plans are very detailed and take you through everything. It gives you the high level overview of each worksheet as well as the questions. And then you have those shorter class periods and the longer class periods already prepped as well. I know that's always a struggle for me, just trying to figure out, okay, well, how much of this chapter can I fit in each class? I've already done that legwork for you, and the slides are already prepped so they have natural breaking points so that you can do those different class formats. I really also like the interactive aspect of the class, from the syllabus. And I haven't seen visual syllabi a lot either. I love that part of it. Shouts out to Ariel. She was my graphic designer for this book. She did an amazing job. As you see right here, we have Jasmine Abrams folding one of her t-shirts. She's running a t-shirt business, which brings me to my other favorite part is Jasmine Abrams. Not only is this diversity in representation for Jasmine being a woman-owned business of color, it's based on real entrepreneur experiences. So I can't even count how many entrepreneurs I actually know. I took pieces from all of my friends and family that are entrepreneurs to create a realistic situations for students to help Jasmine through in this courseware. It's industry driving best practice to say, this is what I see in industry. This is what I see done in entrepreneurship. Now let's teach the students this. The critical thinking and creativity, because they don't have all the answers. They get the information just like they would as an entrepreneur, and it says, okay, what should Jasmine do? Students are going to love that. In my experience, students are at first like, wait, what? Like you're not telling me exactly what you want me to do. Wait, I have options? Yes, you have options. These are the 3 options that Jasmine is facing. Which one should she do? Help weigh in. What are the positives? What are the negatives? Are there advantages to this one over that one? Are there disadvantages to that one over this one? Supply her with your opinions. Do some research, figure it out, and help Jasmine make this decision. Jasmine Abrams has to be one of my favorite parts of this book because it requires students to think critically and creatively about problem solving, which is the basis of entrepreneurship. And it helps students have an application outlet for utilizing the information they're learning in class right now. You can start your business right now in this class. And that, for me, is a difference maker. If you are just talking to students and it's super high level and they can't relate to it or they can't apply it, sometimes you lose them because they're like, okay, yeah, cool. I'll use this in 10 years. No, you can use this on Friday. You are working on this worksheet. You are brainstorming these problems, and then you are creating your business. You are going and classifying your business. You are looking up what your local regulations are, and you are taking the steps to actually start your business. Another part I really love is I'm really into quotes. I love motivational quotes. I love quotes that help me expand my thinking, and that is integrated in the courseware as well. So every chapter, students will get a quote from Jasmine that relates to the content in that chapter and relates to them as an entrepreneur. Success looks different to everyone. You define what success looks like and feels like for you. Because at the end of the day, this is an individual experience, but we're learning it collectively. And each student is going to take something different from it. And I wanted to create this courseware in a way that students can take whatever they need from the courseware, and professors can adjust it for whatever they need as well. Thank you so much for coming and attending. Super happy to be here with you guys. And now I'll turn it back over and we'll open it up for some questions. If you have any questions, if you need feedback, if you have feedback for me, or you want to connect, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. That was excellent. I love this courseware and the passion you put into it. You made it, I mean, it's so much more than just like a textbook. There's so much that's involved with it. So if we have any questions, come into the chat. That'd be great. I have a few that we've had here in the development of this courseware simulation. First question: would you recommend that students start their own business in the course or during the course, or do they need to have a business they're working on in the course?
So it's open, right? So I know students come into entrepreneurship courses from all walks of life. In my introduction to sales class, for example, I've had students that have majors that are nowhere near the business discipline at all. And I know it's the same for entrepreneurship as well. I built this in a way that a student can start class on the first day and they're already in business and they can get something out of it as well. A student coming into this saying, you know what, I'm not really sure about this whole entrepreneurship thing. I'm going to take this class and put my pinky toe in and see how it feels. They can take this class as well. And that student that's in the middle that's like, I already know what I want. I want to be in business. I want to start a business. I have my concept already. This class is built for all 3 of those types of students. It will require them to, or it will help them and walk them through the process of actually making an idea, the ideation part of entrepreneurship as well, to say like, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I should do, and help them through that process. That's what the brainstorm and journal prompts are for, to help them figure out, okay, I think I kind of want to be in business, but I don't know what I want to sell, or I know exactly what I want to do, and this is the path to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I love that. And there's a lot. I mean, obviously, for someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, this is excellent, exactly what they need. But there's a lot of job openings that will say entrepreneurial mindset wanted, whether it's for a startup or a smaller group within a larger business. And so I think that it is beneficial, like you said, for all those student types. Does your courseware walk students through the actual process of starting their own business? That's what it does, kind of along with Jasmine Abrams. Is that correct?
It does, yep. So in the worksheets, they are prompted to do research for their local government and their local entities to say, like, these are the classifications. So even students that are abroad, they walk you through, and the students have to go through that process and then populate, okay, these are the steps that I need to do for this business. They get examples and they get the classifications for the United States, for example, and that walks them through. These are the options for state-based businesses. Look it up for your specific state or city, and then it goes through that process. Yep. So we talk about everything from trademarking to copywriting to taxes to the finance part to raising capital and bootstrapping. Everything is covered in the book.
Oh, I love it. Dan had a question here. Can this course be adapted for all online, since it says it seems to be structured for multiple classroom sessions each week?
Yep, so it can be online. If you or the professor wants to record themselves doing the presentations or just load the presentations for the students, the presentations walk the students through all of the concepts for an online asynchronous environment, or you could do an online synchronous environment as well.
Yeah, and the simulation and courseware are all digital and online, so that goes along with it as well. Another question here from Josh. Does the simulation get into funding, resources, capital investment, or the different types of business structures, solo, partnership, corporation, etc.?
Yep. So the simulation does not get into the different types of business structures. That is in the textbook or the courseware part of it. And then they go through that process with Jasmine Abrams as well, advising her on business structures. The courseware goes into that pretty heavily, but the simulation, they kind of have that already mapped out because it is the backpack company. That part is not as heavy in the simulation. The simulation, they have an angel investment group, and they get initial investment through that. So they are not in a situation where they are getting their ground funding from in the simulation, but they do have to pitch, I believe, towards the middle of the simulation.
Yeah, they have to pitch, and they do have one thing that's great about it, they have to manage those funds and understand, really understanding of, okay, I have this much money that's been invested. I'm not profitable yet. How do I use this money to become profitable? And then how do I continue to bring in resources as I become profitable, grow the business, bring on a team, source the product, things like that. And maybe you could touch on
courseware.
Yeah, go ahead.
The courseware goes deep into the finance and funding side of things as well. So the courseware takes them through all the types of funding that they can do, what they need to have for those types of funding. And then there is, of course, the funding resource that helps students direct them in some different directions as well.
Yeah, and so maybe this would be a good point to touch a little bit on just the benefits of using that courseware and the simulation together, how they go hand in hand.
Yep. So in the courseware, students will get the information from their reading, the professor presentation. They will walk through the Jasmine Abrams. So they're in an advisory capacity for Jasmine Abrams, and they're helping her make those decisions. And then they are required to make decisions on their business in the brainstorming journal prompts and the creating your business project. The simulation adds on for a different version of that where they actually do some things. So that it pairs really well because they read the information and they gather it and they learn the information. Then they have to help, and they kind of are in a little bit of a teaching position with Jasmine Abrams to say, like, okay, this is the difference. This is important on why you classify your business as an LLC, Jasmine. You need to protect yourself. Then they go and say, okay, well, for my business, what would I do? And it's still a little theoretical because they're not actually doing anything yet. They're doing the plans for their business and they're doing some research for their business, but the class does not require them to actually go out and create their business. The simulation, however, gives them that hands-on experience of, okay, now I have funding, I have this business idea, I'm making decisions, and I see how those decisions impact the bottom line for my business. So that way they're hit on from multiple perspectives for the entrepreneurship journey. And that's why I say this class creates entrepreneurs and creates an environment for students to really learn entrepreneurship, because they come out of this class with those different layers of entrepreneurship and exposure to entrepreneurship, really helping them be more versatile.
Yeah, I love it. They have the kind of the model with Jasmine that they can follow and see, and then they have, what they may be working on personally for themselves, and then the simulation really brings in that kind of the risk-free entrepreneurial experience where they have the money, which is one of the hardest things to do is, all right, I've got the money now, what do I do? And it's very high risk when you're an entrepreneur, but the simulation, I think they still feel that stress of it. But it's, they're not actually dealing with all this money and all this capital and potentially, losing out on that. So it's, those three together are really impactful.
Yeah.
Any other questions that anyone's had throughout the presentation about the simulation or the courseware or about Dr. Riley?
I see Garrett said, any tips on what to avoid if teaching this courseware for the first time?
Yes.
I wouldn't say avoid, embrace creativity, right? So this course should be fun. You are literally creating something and you are helping these students create something. Have fun with it. That's the most important part. Don't get bogged down in the information so much, because it can be very overwhelming. When I was creating this class and working on all of these assets and figuring out all the scenarios and how I can take students on the journey with Jasmine Abrams to help her make decisions, but not, give them all the information, but give them enough information. And then thinking about, oh man, like it's so much. They have to do finance, they have to do accounting, they have to do marketing, they have to do sales. Like it is literally all aspects of business. Just take a step back and have fun, because it is a really fun course. It is an interactive read. So it's not just text. It's broken up by images. It's broken up by visuals. There are examples throughout the courseware from Jasmine, and students even get to help her decide if she's going to leave her 9-to-5 job. So a lot of times in entrepreneurship, especially if you're active on social media, you see this whole narrative about a 9-to-5 and a 6-to-11. Students get to see Jasmine struggle with that and say like, oh man, my business is taking off, but it's really risky if I leave my job. Like, how do I navigate this? So just have fun with it. That's the really important part. Have fun with it. The more into it you get and the more open you are to students really making it their own and figuring out what they need from this course, the more fun the professor will have too.
Yeah, and I love that you've really made it so easy for any professor, especially those new ones that are developing this course for the first time, that everything they need is there, whether it's an 8-week or 16-week course, whether it's online or in person or asynchronous, like it's all there. All the resources are already there. They don't have to go out and find assignments and bring things in. Everything's there that they need. The simulation has an instructor guide to walk them through all that. So it really is very turnkey in that way. And you've done a great job with that, Jen, to make it easy for the educator. Because as you know, you are the educator, and you created what you would want.
And then I, especially for entrepreneurship, I know a lot of professors that are well established in a class like this like to have guest speakers come in, but some professors don't have those industry connections. That's why I did the entrepreneurship expert sessions. So it's people that are running their businesses and they are experiencing all of these things, and I had them with different skill sets and different types of business to talk about specific things that they can feature in their class as a guest lecturer or guest speaker.
Yep. And if those that are watching want to see any of this, we have the schedule walkthrough there in the bottom left corner. You can get on and actually get a personalized tour with one of our helpful course consultants. They'll walk you through, show you these resources that Jen has talked about, help you set up your course if you need to, get it set up for this fall or later on, and get going, so you can see if this is something that would be used in your school. Well, thank you so much, Jen. This has been great. We're so thrilled to have you and work with you, and look forward to getting this entrepreneurship education material into so many classrooms.
Awesome. Thank you all. This has been a great experience. I'm so excited. I'm already planning updates So next year, this is going to be even better. It'll be more resources. It'll be more Jasmine Abrams worksheets and things that'll really help students take their businesses to the next level. Super excited about this.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.